to the ouster of Governor Buni of Yobe State as Chairman Caretaker / Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress, Salihu Lukman, a member of the ruling party, had raised that alarm that Buni was not working in the interests of the APC. For having the temerity to expose Buni's alleged acts of subterfuge and attempt to defer the National Convention of the APC for as long as possible, some powerful elements in the party forced Lukman to resign last January as the Director General of the Progressive Governors Forum. Today, Lukman has been vindicated for speaking truth to power and is now joining us from Abuja to provide more insight into the antics that led to Buni's removal at the weekend. He will also be telling us what next steps the APC needs to take to hold on to power in 2023. Good morning, Mr. Lukman, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, Tunu was just saying that you have been vindicated. How? Does that amount to Mai Mala Buni being guilty as charged? And what do you think is the way forward? This day, newspaper is reporting today that APC stakeholders are considering a soft landing for Governor Buni. What would that soft landing be like?
Well, first, I think the big challenge around all of this development is being able. Are you hearing me?
Yes, clearly. Please go ahead.
Okay. I think the big challenge around this development is being able to separate opinion from facts. And since the beginning of the unfolding event on Monday, there are so many narratives that are out there which need to be really interrogated in order for the facts to be projected. First, I want to say clearly that at this moment, what is going on is an internal contest. Of course, there are strong allegations, which I have raised some of them in the past, bordering on the problem of trust in terms of implementing decisions taken by the Caretaker Committee and other structures of the party by His Excellency Mai Mala Buni and especially the Secretary. It's on record, we have postponed the National Convention of the party at least 3 times between November and January, and all at the instance of the request of the chairman. The first one was that the convention was to take place December 28. Nothing was done up to around November 22nd. And then the question of festivity period came up and consultation happened with the governors and president, and a new date was established, which was supposed to be February 5. And up to end of January, about a week to February 5, even the statutory mandatory notice of 3 weeks was not served on INEC. No venue was secured for the convention, and then some further consultation took place, and February 26 was agreed to. And one thing leading to the other, committees were not set up, there was no indication we were preparing for convention. And eventually, the decision was taken to move it to March 26. Now, following that decision, there was also a decision about internal zoning within the party, But the next thing, a zoning committee was set up. Then internal within the party, some leaders discovered that there was also a court injunction that has been secured since November 18th, in fact, against the convention holding, which the allegation is that the leadership, His Excellency Mai Mala Buni, is aware of this and nothing was done to vacate it. So there were strong allegations against the leadership of His Excellency Mai Mala Buni to the effect that he is reluctant to vacate the seat and would defy all the logic that was used to justify the reason why we needed a governor to act in a temporary capacity. Because the belief was that being a governor, he has more responsibility, more work to do. He will be in a hurry to really conclude all his assignment within the 6 months initially given and go back to his primary duty as a governor. And the other logic is also that being a governor, there is nothing more attractive in the party office than the office of a governor. But all the, like I said earlier, all the postponement about National Convention was done at this instance. And this particular one, it was very clear, March 26, which are being set up, including bringing up schedule for zonal congresses, which are not in the Constitution, setting up zonal committee just to create a situation where time will be bought, setting up unwieldy subcommittees comprising up to 1,000, more than 1,000 membership. And you wonder, okay, if we are having subcommittees, more than 1,000 members, how many delegates are we going to have at the convention? So these are some of the strong allegations. So as it is, His Excellency Mala Buni has not been removed as is being alleged. He's still the chairman, but internal processes within the party in terms of, first, he has traveled since last week, and before he traveled, internal to the caretaker committee, they decided His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello will continue to spearhead the affairs of the party pending his return. But when all these things came up, the strong position is that, look, if it means changing the leadership of the party, the process has to commence. And which is why, for instance, some of the first thing that you see His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello had to do was to take steps to revive the most important structure of the party, which is the National Executive Council. It's not by accident. And when we say there are allegations that His Excellency Mala Buni didn't want to do the convention, it's not by accident they refused to inaugurate the chairmen of states. They invited them to Abuja instead of inaugurating them, gave them a letter of return and asked them to return. And there were demands by leaders to convene the NEC, and it was clear with the party is being set up. If you convene a NEC and you have not inaugurated the chairman of state, the legal status of such a NEC will be questioned. So the party is doing everything possible to ensure due process is followed, to rectify whatever internal challenges we have. And I keep saying, one of my confidence in the party is that the leadership is not in denial about challenges. We agree there are challenges, the leadership is in agreement there are challenges, and there are strong cases against His Excellency Mala Buni, but he has to be given the chance to defend himself. If a NEC is convened, His Excellency Mala, whether he's chairman of caretaker committee or not, he's statutory a member of NEC by virtue of his position as the governor of Yobe State. So these are issues that are going to be presented to him. So, I mean, I am confident that the contest going on is a healthy contest in order to sanitize the party. There are people among leaders who try to short-circuit contest. And this is the problem of Nigerian democracy. You can't have a democracy without internal contest. And internal contest is about allowing disagreement to play out, and on the basis of which the decision of majority should dictate what should be the position of the party. And this is the context that is going on.
Right. Thank you for that. I want your take on two stories that have been reported in today's newspapers. Firstly, that APC stakeholders are mulling a soft landing for Buni and Akpanu Dodehe, wanting them to resign. Buni, it's been suggested, could use a medical excuse to resign, or the fact that he's a first-term governor whose services are required in Yobe State, and also that Senator Akpanu Dodehe could also be asked to resign just to maintain, peace within the party. However, it doesn't appear that Senator Akpanu Dodehe is that enamored by that idea, because he has come out to stressed that he has not resigned. Then there's another story I'd like your take on about how there's 13 governors who could leave the party because they're upset at the way Maimala Buni has been treated. What's your take on these two stories?
Well, on the first one, whether there should be subletting or not does not invalidate the allegations being made against His Excellency Maimala Buni and the Secretary Senator John James Udodohi. I think whether they resign or not, even for their own personal integrity, they need to provide a defense. And if those things are true, they need to really show remorse and either apologize to the party, because these are people that the leadership had strong confidence in, and they came in, all of us welcomed them. We gave them all our support. So why should they betray those support? And I think these are the issues. I mean, for me, my argument will be that for the health of the party and to prevent a recurrence of this kind of situation, we need to go through the whole hog so that whoever come in know that there is a baseline, you can't go below it. That is my position on the so-called soft landing that is being talked about. The second issue about so-called 13 governors threatening to leave the party, this is exactly part of the problem. And that is why I started by saying we need to separate opinion from facts. On Monday, when this incident started, the whole argument was that Buhari has sacked His Excellency Maimala Buni, has appointed His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello as sole administrator. Nobody, is asking the question, and that story is being put around so as to discredit the contest that is going on internally inside the APC, to show that APC is an undemocratic party and President Buhari is also an undemocratic person. And this is exactly the point about this so-called 13 governors. No name is mentioned. I have read the story. No name is mentioned. And I have argued in the past, not more than about a week ago or so, I have read the concern that there are about 3 governors working with His Excellency Maimala Buni. I stand to be corrected till this date if there are more than those 3 governors. Let anybody come out and mention the names of the governors. Look, the contest inside APC, anybody threatening to leave APC on account of the contest, it means the person is not committed to democracy. Because if you are committed to democracy, you must be able to engage opposition, engage disagreement, so as to sway argument or sway position in your direction. But if once people disagree with you and are opposed to you, you walk away, it means you are not interested in democracy. That will be my position on these 2 issues.
Okay. 2 things. Number 1 will be quick reactions. What was complained by most of the governors was the fact that you had a very elaborate list of those to work on the convention, over 1,500 or 1,600 of them. They said that has been pruned down. Will that make the convention faster? And secondly, I'd ask again, it might sound very silly, but what's really going on? A lot of people don't get what's going on in your party. Honestly. Yesterday, Akwanu Dehe said, he debunked a story that he had resigned that was circulating on social media. There are reports from sources that he was actually forced to resign. And afterwards, he was made to come back to say, I have not resigned, I'm waiting for Buni to calm things down. So what is really going on in your party?
Well, first, let me start with this last point, which is why I started by opening by saying that we have to try to separate opinion from facts. What are the facts? The facts that I know from what I had that transpired yesterday, there was the meeting of the caretaker committee. And he was inside the meeting and he stormed out of the meeting. I don't know what transpired inside the meeting that made him to storm out. And one version of the story said he was walking away. And then that was how the story started being disseminated, that he has resigned. Then he came back and said he has not resigned. Now, look, there are 13 members in the caretaker committee, minus me, Mala, there would be 12 of them in that meeting. So like any meeting, opinions will differ. Now, leadership require that if he is truly acting as the secretary of the caretaker committee, he should be able to sit there and be able to moderate and go with majority opinion. If for whatever reason he storm out and it indicates he's not really with the majority, because none of the 11 people came out with him. So I think in terms of what is really happening in the party, my simple answer is that there is contest going on internally inside the party. There is strong contest happening, and we have to respect that contest. My confidence is that at the end of the contest, there will be an agreement. If you like, call it winner. There will be winners, and anybody who wins will be saddled with the responsibility of driving the process of the party up to the election. And my take is that this contest has to be taken to the floor of the convention in such a way that we are able to produce the kind of leadership that majority of party members have confidence in. And that leadership should be able to moderate itself and carry everybody along. This will be my take in terms of what is going on. On the first one, I'm not sure I can remember exactly what the question was.
The question is over 1,600 people that were said to be part of the... Now they said they've reduced that.
No, on that one is very simple. I have read, the concern is that, look, imagine you are going to inaugurate the subcommittees. What kind of venue do you need? You will need a venue almost equal to the convention square. And beside, look at the cost, because even if it is the meetings of the committee, you are just going to provide water. For a party that is complaining it doesn't have money, why do you need subcommittees that have up to more than 1,000 membership? What is the record in terms of, this is not our first convention. The last convention we organized, how many members are members of the subcommittees all in all? This should be the reference point. But somehow, the leadership of His Excellency Mimala Buni and the secretary were just organizing things based on almost a set-up strategy, set up to fail. Let's create a situation where there has to be reason to postpone the convention. This is the allegation. I keep saying it's an allegation because we have to give them the right to defend themselves. But we also have the courage to be able to say it out so that they know that we are making these allegations against their leadership.
Okay, well, quickly, let me ask you. The allegations against Governor Buni as chairman of the caretaker committee, whatever he may have done, does he really have the powers to act in that manner without the support of the president? And in this regard, I'm talking about how the party itself is organized. Now, second, just a moment, I'm sorry. Then second, the reports in the paper said the Attorney General of the Federation, who is also a member of the party, advised that the president does not have the powers to, as alleged, unilaterally change the leadership of the party. Do you think that the president has acted in this regard ultra vires, and that may, in the long run, affect the fortunes of the party?
Okay. My problem, the first question you asked about whether His Excellency Mimala Buni could have acted without the support of the president. My position is that what is happening is that there is, and this is why I have written before, I have argued, I have accused His Excellency Mimala Buni of betraying the trust of the president. The leadership style of President Muhammadu Buhari, why it differs from other leaders, the fact that when he gives you responsibility, he doesn't micromanage you. So somehow His Excellency Mimala Buni has audaciously taken steps based on the clear understanding of the kind of trust of President Buhari. And why I say audaciously is that he believes President Buhari is not going to call him and say, don't do this. Why are you doing this? Which is the kind of leadership style that a young democracy like that of Nigeria requires, so that let's be allowed to make our mistake and correct it. Now, many of us in the party are complaining against President Buhari because he doesn't micromanage the party leadership. I have argued severally that, look, President Buhari's responsibility is not to manage the party. And this is why early enough, some of us had the courage to start raising. I have at least written, I can't remember, at least not less than 3 letters to President Buhari, 2 of which are open letters, raising a number of these issues, because somehow, some of us believe our commitment to the party is that the party presents a hope in terms of reforming Nigerian democracy. But once we derail and allow leaders to begin to do things audaciously, not following the due process, begin to manipulate, then the party will lose that edge in terms of having the advantage of becoming attractive to Nigerians, which is the case right now. So that will be my response to that. I mean, please, President Buhari in this matter, I think he did the best he could. And I am a critic of President Buhari. I have said so severally. I have before now written open letters about his leadership style. But when somebody does something which is right and worth acknowledging, I think we should be able to step forward and say so. And I think on this matter, President Buhari's handling of the issues in the party is desirable in the sense that let him be able to allow the party leadership to manage the party. He's not to micromanage the party. That is why he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. His business is to manage the country. Now, sorry, I have short memory. I don't know, I can't remember now the second question.
No, I think in a way you've already answered the second question, because I was saying that the president acts ultra vires because the Attorney General of the Federation had a different opinion. He was saying that it's the National Executive Committee of the party that has the powers to first serve the chairman of the Caretaker Committee a 7 days notice.
Dr. Abati, my contention is that I don't think even the president has given the kind of order that people are alleging he has given. The president may have agreed that there are allegations against His Excellency Mala Buni, and to the extent of those allegations, he may agree that steps should be taken to effect changes in the party. But he will not go to the extent and say, this should be the changes, follow due process, and do the changes. That is why we are going through this whole hawk. Some of the people who are opposed to the changes that are to take place, they are the ones trying to preempt it by demonstrating that President Buhari is acting as a dictator or the party is being undemocratic. But I assure you, I personally have all the confidence that all the due processes will be followed and the right thing will be done.
Well, thank you very much, Alhaji Salihu Lukman, for joining us today on The Morning Show. Thank you very much indeed.